Hi, it's Blair, and I'm here with Ted Ning, who is the Executive Director of Lohas, and we are just going to ask him some questions about being green and things of that nature. So, I guess my first question is, could you tell me a little bit about your background and how you started working for Lohas, and kind of what Lohas is a little bit?
Sure. Well, Lohas is probably a term that people haven't heard about. They kind of think it's Hawaiian or something like that when they first hear it, but it's actually an acronym for Lifestyles of Health and Sustainability, and it talks about the consumers that are interested in buying things that are in line with their values. You know, the people who go out there and are interested in yoga, and perhaps are interested in buying organic foods, and interested in doing things for the environment. So that's what the Lohas consumer does, and there's different companies that want to create different products for that Lohas consumer. And for me, my background is that I've been involved with Lohas for about 5 years, and I've always just lived this lifestyle from when I was a young kid to now, and it just was natural, and now there's an identification for it.
Wow, so did you grow up in Colorado?
Yes, I did. I grew up in Colorado. I was, I think, 4 years old when I moved to Colorado from Chicago, and have never left.
We can see why from some of these pictures.
Yeah, these pictures are great.
So since you've been working with Lohas, what are some of the biggest achievements you've seen that the company has done through just working with the different businesses, and have you seen a growth in kind of more companies going more eco-friendly and living this way, or things like that?
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, even 5 years ago when I started, it was really kind of a hard argument. You had to convince people that it was the right thing to do. And now you can't open up a magazine or turn on the radio or the TV without seeing something green, especially with Green Week here and Earth Week. So it's really exciting to see that companies and people are really paying attention to this. I think the fact that you have all of these different global circumstances that are affecting things, whether it be global warming or the awareness of that with Inconvenient Truth, the fact that gas prices are now looking to be almost $4 a gallon this summer, and everyone is aware of it now, so they're trying to find out things of what they can do, and they're wanting to buy different products that are in line with their values or do things that really make a difference, and I think that's really exciting.
And if you had any tips on, you know, if you're starting to be green or trying to have a more eco-friendly lifestyle, what would they be?
Well, I think it's just, first of all, learning that, you know, think about, it's not all one thing you can do, because if you do that, you get really overwhelmed, and people can get just totally overwhelmed by, oh my gosh, there's so many things I need to do, and I feel guilty if I don't. So what it is, it's really getting people to understand it's just this little things that really make a big difference. You know, for example, just turning off a light in the house. When you're not in that room, turn off the lights. Or doing things like perhaps unplugging all of your chargers or things that you're not using at the time, whether it be the computer or your cell phone charger. Those types of things, you know, constantly are sucking energy off of the grid. So those little subtle things are little things that people can do. Or, you know, turning over a piece of paper when you're printing and using the other side. Those are some real basic things, I think, that are, you know, within reason that people can do. Now, on a larger scale, you know, biking, you know, skateboarding, those types of things, using those as modes of transportation, I think are also really great ways to get around. Plus, they're fun, and it just helps the environment as well.
Especially now in the summer, it's much warmer and probably more enjoyable to do those things anyway.
Yeah, and it gets you outside, it gets you, you know, out and just doing stuff. So and that's one thing with Colorado, is that it's a very active place. And you know, whether it be skiing or mountain biking or hiking or kayaking or all kinds of stuff. So it's really, really a fun place to grow up, and you have that as kind of a lifestyle. And a lot of people may not have that otherwise.
What are some measures you take in your own life to help the environment?
Well, I think it's something that, as long as you're aware of it, it's something that you can't get away from. It's almost kind of the curse of knowledge. Once you know something, or you're aware of new information about how you affect things, it changes your whole paradigm of how you think. So with that, you can't go back to the old way of thinking. So I think that as long as people become more aware, they become more educated, they become more informed about their choices and what their options are, that's going to be an improvement for everybody.
And has working with Lohas made you any more eco-friendly or more aware, or just kind of helped you sustain the lifestyle you're already accustomed to?
Well, I think it would be a little condescending if I drove around in a Hummer and I ate, fast food all day and, was in it all for me and what's in it for me type of attitude. So I've had to really become aware of what I do. So in doing that, I, have my house is off the grid. I try to bike to work as much as I can and eat as many natural and organic foods as I possibly can. And then I've even gone to the point in which the savings that I do have, I've even invested that in socially responsible investing. So that means that money is actually going to communities and different causes that are in line with environmental and social programs throughout the world. And just trying to really inform others about the choices. And that's really what we do. And for information, if anyone's interested, just go to Lohas.com, and there's a lot of different information there for people to gain insights in all of these different activities in terms of tips, in terms of new ideas, and new ways that people can get involved.
I know you guys do a few conferences every year. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that and what kind of goes on during them and who comes and such?
Sure. Well, we have a business conference that happens once a year. It's June 18th through the 21st, and it really brings together all the different business leaders from all over the world to come and talk about this new Lohas market. Because it's interesting, typically the yoga studio, the person who goes to the yoga studio is interested in organic foods and is also interested in hybrid vehicles. But the hybrid vehicle company doesn't talk to the yoga studio, and the yoga studio doesn't talk really to the organic food company. So what we try to do is bring all these different groups together and say, hey, don't reinvent the wheel. Let's all try to work together and target the same people to kind of streamline our messages and learn from each other. So that's something that we really try to do, and we try to make it fun too. I mean, we have drum circles, and we have music, and we have entertainment, and really make it a lifestyle experience.
So everything's very interconnected with the whole eco world, between the tourism and personal things. And I guess my last question would be, where do you see Lohas going in the future? And what would you like to see for Lohas?
Well, I think it's a natural evolution of our society. I mean, right now we're at a crux. We're kind of at a place where we're aware of global warming, and we're aware of kind of the unforeseen circumstances from our actions. And now people want to change, and they're looking for ways to do that in a value-based way. So I think that Lohas is only going to continue to grow. I think that people who are interested in green, that's the entry point of understanding, but there's a whole vast area of awareness that people are just beginning to understand. So if environmentalism is the kind of the fun new way to do things, what's the next level? What's the deeper level? It might be something where environmentalism engages social welfare or social justice. So I think combining those two is really interesting, and that's what Lohas does. Not only does it do that, it also provides information on alternative medicines and also personal development. So those are things too that I think people are just beginning to understand, that there is a connection between all of these different pieces. And that's where I think our society will eventually go, just due to the fact that we're constantly evolving and we're constantly innovating. And it's really exciting.
Thank you so much.
Sure.